our program today by the singing of the Philippine National. Okay, please remain standing as I call on Ms. Amaroso for...
God, our Father, Creator of heaven and earth, we thank you and we praise you. We, your people, acknowledge and seek you. We pray, bless this gathering. Bless the people behind this forum. May we be channels of your peace and truth. May the light of your saving grace shine in us and through us as we go through life's journey. Bless us and our loved ones, our families and friends and benefactors. Crown our efforts with success. We ask this through Christ our Lord. Amen. We have this original version ng Panatang Makabayan. Can we ask you to say this aloud? Iniibig ko ang Pilipinas.
Iniibig ko ang Pilipinas.
Ito ang aking lupang sinilangan.
Ito ang aking lupang sinilangan.
Ito ang tahanan ng aking lahi.
Ito ang tahanan ng aking lahi.
Ako'y kanyang kinukuko.
Ako'y kanyang kinukuko.
At tinutulungan. Upang maging malakas. Maligaya. At kapaki-pakinabang. Bilang ganti, diringgin ko ang payo ng aking mga magulang. Susundin ko ang mga tuntunin ng aking bansa. Tutuparin ko ang mga tungkulin ng isang mamamayang makabayan at masunurin sa batas. Paglilingkuran ko ang aking bayan ng walang pag-iimbot at ng buong katapatan. Sisikapin kong maging isang tunay na Pilipino sa isip, sa salita, at sa gawa. So help us God. Thank you very much.
By the way, my name is Benji Murillo. I am a two-time director of the National Press Club of the Philippines, and if I remember it right, during our Meet the Press Forum, we also lucky to be graced by no less than Mr. Jess Aranza during those days at the National Press Club. The Media Forum or Pen Power Media Forum is organized, of course, as I said earlier, by Pen Power for Democracy and Good Governance, headed by no less than our good friend, Mr. Chando Moralios. By the way, to give a little information about Mr. Moralios, he was my former editor, desk editor in the Manila Bulletin. He also worked in the Philippine Daily Inquirer and also in Panorama, the weekly magazine of the Manila Bulletin. He is also a book author. Actually, he authored, if I'm not mistaken, 7 coffee table books. And his latest masterpiece is the biography of no less than the former commissioner of the Bureau of Customs, Attorney Titos Villanueva. By the way, Mr. Moralios also happened to throw his hat in the local political arena in northern Samar. But unfortunately, the people lost when he did not won the election.
So may I call on Mr. Chito Cunha for the presentation.
Medyo I'm just surprised, but I think naman we will not have a problem knowing our guests because they're very visible and in terms, especially at advocating anti-smuggling. So we have, of course, a former Commissioner of Customs and, of course, the resilient and persistent anti-smuggling advocate, Sir Jess Aranza. Ito naman si Sir Jess ay talagang when we're talking of consumer protection, protecting our ports, protecting the industry, is a person without doubt recognized by all sectors, from executive, legislative, and of course even organized consumers. So without much ado, I guess we have the right person right now to talk about anti-smuggling, consumer protection in the person of Mr. Chester. And one thing sure is that we will be learning a lot definitely from Mr. Jesse Aranza, of course from Attorney William Leron, and a lot of things about customs and the industry. Thank you so much.
By the way, the proceedings of this forum will be heard on Sunday in the WBL Radio, 12 noon to 1:30, in Prosec Global Radio Show, and also in the radio show of one of our panelists here, Mr. Jess Aranza in Sunshine Radio. So maybe would like to hear words from the organizer himself, Mr. Chanto Morales. Chanto.
For decades now, has been a fad among us Filipinos in organized advocacy groups which are usually composed of people of like minds and beliefs, such as women power, student power, labor power, etc. Not surprisingly, these advocacy groups have been successful in their advocacies, especially the women's groups. Years ago, I, together with some friends, Benji and other guys here, girls, organized the Pen Power for Democracy and Good Governance. But it was an organization that was not financed, so we only gather ourselves together when the occasion calls for it. But today we believe our country is in such situation that I think citizens have to stand up and have their voices heard, and that's why we have to reactivate Pen Power for Democracy and Good Governance using the pen as our weapon in or our way of expressing ourselves as Filipinos, especially as reaction to the issues that are arising today in this very precarious situation of our country. It is for this reason that Pen Power has been organized. But for a start, we are going to tackle the issue of graft and corruption. Aside from the other issues that we plan to hold in the future, because we are more interested in issues and policies, not necessarily in news, we give this task to the other forums. Kasi kami, we are not from television or radio. So, ang aming advocacies lang ganito. Number one is to shift from federalism, from government, from presidential, as proposed by Aquilino Pimentel and, mainly Aquilino, to campaign to educate intelligent Filipino electorate on issues and government affairs, especially that elections are getting nearer and nearer. The situation of this country cannot be blamed solely on politicians, but also on the ignorant and corruptible electorate. That's why we, pen power, have to use our pen. If the others have power, the pen has also its power. That's why they say that the pen is mightier than the sword. Now this is one occasion that we have to prove this saying. Na pwede natin magamit ang pen. Now let us have to prove that in this forum. Tayo who belongs to the writing profession has been called to arms with the pen in order to help our country and our people. We also plan to propose the inclusion of patriotism in history subjects in all the schools at the elementary level. Because I think much of the problem in this country is because our politicians are not concerned about loving their country. It's only in their name. It's only name that they love the country. They love their gadgets more than they love their country. If they only truly love their country, they will not do this country in. Ang nangyayari, they do not care about the reputation of our country. They just are interested in what they can get for themselves. So I think we will propose this inclusion. We also want to propose the adoption of the jury system, similar to the US. We also propose to abolish the bar examination. It is making too much glorification of the course, which is just like any other medicine is even more delicate, more important profession. The law, they bend the law. Sometimes they make a mockery of the law. The medical profession is even more high and nobler objective than the law. Look at what happened now in the Court of Appeals. Anyway, we also propose to organize the Philippine Leadership Academy. It's a school for leaders, starting from grade school up to the time it graduates, because this is the equivalent of the Philippine Military Academy. We have more peace than we have war. So why not emphasize on peace, peacekeeping, and administration? I hope that pen power will submit this idea to the Congress of the Philippines to enact the law for this purpose. Mahirap na magturo pag matanda na eh. Set na ang mind na tungkol sa group of problem. But when you are young, you teach the student, you teach the grade school pupil what is love of country, what is true patriotism and devotion to their country, and knowing the country, history, etc., etc. The great people of our country. That's the way to teach people to love their country. So we hope that pen power will sponsor this, spouse this, and introduce this in Congress through our friends in Congress of the Philippines. Now, I will not be talking too much. I sound like Ninoy Aquino already. Now, these are some of the advocacies that we want to promote in the future. And incidentally, the pen power will also publish its own newsletter, pen power. Kaya yung mga pagsasalita rito, we will have it tape recorded and then written in our pen power newsletter and reported. This will be the only forum with a newspaper of its own, so that it will be distributed in Congress, local government, executive, etc., etc. So, ang mga sinasabi ng ating mga speakers dito ay hindi masasayang, sapagkat it will be reported, broadcasted in the newspapers and in the radio, if possible in television. But I don't want to make too much explanation of that, so that's very obvious. Now, with regards to the first, yung mga graph of corruption, yun ang unang advocacy namin. That's why napili namin ang Bureau of Customs na may unang topic nitong ating report. So, I have invited my university mate, Jess Aranza. He was a student leader in my days. I was in the newspaper, he was in politics, and he was a you were the Speaker of the House of the state government. I was in the newspaper, dito. Kasi now, your face very sound familiar.
Bagong program yun sa
Yeah. Your face sound familiar, no? Because you also speak, very outspoken student leader. So after that, when I saw him at the National Press Club as a guest, I thought, oh, he's an old friend that I remember. Now, dito, and it's very impressive to meet this gentleman again. Now, also, ito naman si ex-commissioner Titos, ako'y nakilala ko siya about 10 or 15 years ago. Because when I wrote a book about the Europe posts, I wrote a libro nila ng Centennial. I showed it to Commissioner Titos, who was still the commissioner at the time. He was impressed, and he said, and he told me, can you write something like that for the Bureau of Customs? I jumped up like I was a chimpanzee because I was so happy, and he offered me to be the writer of the Bureau of Customs Centennial. Diba napakalaki pa hinihingi ng gano'n? So I said, okay. And then thereafter, siguro medyo nasatisfied siya. So one time we met again, he said, hey, sabi ko sa kanya, you have such a beautiful life, very eventful life, remarkable life. You were not accused of any offense in Bureau of Customs, even suspended, etc., etc. In other words, this performance was so remarkable that you deserve to have a book about your life at Customs. And he said, it might be too much for people to take. I'll be talking about myself. So come on, it's not even a biography. It's a biography. If you allow me, I'll write a book for you. And then when there's some cajoling, etc. He agreed for me to write. And then there is, but what caught my attention was that there was a chapter in the book which says that a vision for the Bureau of Customs. A vision for the Bureau of Customs. Where he said that when he proposed something that rather late in the day, he proposed when he was no longer about something to eradicate or at least minimize graft and corruption in the Bureau of Customs. And then I remembered, it was a good idea. The idea to propose, he advanced. He said about, sabi ko, could you ever remove graft and corruption? Graft and corruption in Bureau of Customs has been there since time immemorial. You cannot remove. But he said, well, anyway, this is just for the record. But I realized it's really a practical, doable idea which he proposed. He was speaking about restoring only 2 programs of the Bureau of Customs which were successful during his time. And sabi ko, oh, well, it worked then. It must work now. This was to, well, he will explain it. I cannot explain as well as he can. But anyway, I thought it was so deserving of being the initial subject to be taken up by this forum. And we will report that in 10 hours newsletter later on. And I hope my colleague here, Susan, great journalist, maganda na, cute pa, matalino pa, galing sa mulat pa. She has helped me organize this. And Benji is a broadcaster also. Kasama ko sa press club. So, we are gathering the best of pen power. Use the power, prepare. I will not be eating much of the time of our speakers. Binigay ko lang kayo ng background because you'll be surprised bakit meron ganito. kahit naman konti pa, it will be published anyway. So what is important is what they say today will be published and distributed in Congress, in local government units, all are important offices in this country. So we have to make a record of all their speeches, the salient points, the highlights of their speeches, so people will know what they said here and what we will do in the future. Now for Benji, the request that
thank you for advocating power of the pen in helping our government in solving various issues that affects our nation, particularly graft and corruption. Yun nga yung topic natin ngayon, what's new at the waterfront, the unabated corruption.
Yes, natin. Our next speaker is Mr. Jess Lim Aranza. He is a seasoned businessman, an economist and professor. He is an orator and a student leader during his high school and college days. Right now, he has a radio program. He is a known personality in the business community and in government. Mr. Jess Lim Aranza is married to a beautiful lady, Evelyn Nakana, with 4 children who are all married and professionals. I hope, and sana andito yung wife nyo para narinig niya. Mr. Lim Aranza is currently the chairman of the Federation of Philippine Industries and the Anti-Smuggling Committee. He is an independent director of the Philippine Electricity Market Corporation. Likewise, an incumbent director of the United Coconut Planters Bank. And he was chairman of the United Coconut Association of the Philippines from 1992 to 1995, 96 to 1999. He was the founding chairman of the ASEAN Vegetable Oils Club during the 1994-1996 in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. He was also chairman of the Coconut Oil Refiners Association. Until now, he still is. He is the president and CEO of the CIIF Oil Mills Group and a consultant of the Dangerous Drugs Board. Ladies and gentlemen, may I present to you Mr. Jess Aranza.
And of course, I am proud also to be with a co-Bicolano in the person of Titos. Totoo yun, during his time, wala akong narinig na bulungan of any sort. Kami nag-uusap nun eh. At nagmula sa, ang nabigyan natin ng attention, put more emphasis on the ukay-ukay, if you recall. And which until now is a problem.
Yeah.
Okay. The topic you have there is what's new at the waterfront. I believe that the best person who can answer that should have been Sevilla. Unfortunately, he's not around.
Mm-hmm.
But what we can say is, ano yung dati? Siguro, wala kaming alam. But I know what's going on. I'm happy to note that there are some remarkable and significant improvements. Medyo mahigpit si Sevilla, nainis ang mga tao ron, pero talagang gano'n ang dati. No? But before I proceed, allow me to give you some notes, yung mga hindi naman kinukutya ko ang customs, pero nakukwento ko yung sa laban sa customs. Pero palagi kong sinasabi, fuera de los buenos. Palaging may caveat, no? That hindi naman lahat. Doon ko na-coin yung sa custom capo, sabi ko kay Senator Enrique sa program namin. Incidentally, 13 years na kami, pero unfortunately, solo ako ngayon. Kaya ang sabi sa akin, Jess, hindi ka nag-iisa. Nandun sa PNP hospital siya. Anyway, ang sabi ko palagi doon, sabi ko, Manong, ano ang pagkaiba ng trabaho natin at saka customs? Sabi niya, ano? Sabi ko, sa trabaho natin, kailangan laki mata para kita. Sa custom, pikit mata, laki kita. Then may isa pa, sabi ko, sa customs, umiiral pa rin ang the old customs and tradition. Then may isa pa, bakit nakawala ang sibuyas? Eh, inagaw ni Manong yung joke ko na yun. Kasi, nung dumaan sa x-ray, pumisa yung sibuyas, nalagyan ng mata ng mga nanunok. Kaya, nakapagkit, lumusot ang sibuyas. And the most astonishing thing that happened is, may nahuli kami na sibuyas outside the custom area. But we have to bring it to customs. And I was with marami na kasing taong dumaan na kasama ko eh. Pero bilyan, no? So binalik kami sa custom because only customs can open it. Nung binuksan, ang laman ay assorted, ang declaration pala, assorted hand tools. When I mentioned that in the Senate hearing, the hearing ended because lahat nagtatawanan na. It's absurd. Just imagine, a river ban dineclare na ang laman assorted hand tools. Pero refrigerated ang laman. And the people in customs, dumaan niya sa iba-iba hanggang sa commissioner. Walang nakakita. Nagulat ang customs. Sabi ko, alam mo ka po, totoo yun. Sibuyas ang laman, pero dineclare, may galit ata sa atin.
Oo nga.
Ang dineclare, assorted hand tools. Sabi ko, ang hand tools ngayon, bago na. Ang laman tikoy. Kasi pag refrigerated, tumitigas ang tikoy. So pwede mong gamitin. And they use that to avoid Section 9 of the state. Kaya linagay yung kunyari sa refrigerated pan. Naniwala naman lahat. Kaya maraming kababalaghan ang nasa customs. And I have been fighting this, not because I want to be popular. Alam mo, my job is a thankless job. And a riskier at that. But, siguro natatandaan nyo pati yung cigarette. Manababangga natin, pero trabaho na mo yun. Wala ko tayong magagawa. Pero, ang purpose namin is we want to save industry in the Philippines. It is only through manufacturing that you can create employment na marami. Farming will not give you that much. It's in the manufacturing, lalo na yung labor-intensive, like desiccated coconut and so on and so forth. So, we want to protect that. And in so doing, we are protecting also local labor force, the Filipinos. Kasi kung pabayaan mo na kainin ng produktong China na smuggle pa, it will eat up into the market of the local industry, and the result is that the industry might reduce its capacity, therefore they will have to remove some of their employees, or they will close
down.
Or sarada. And who will benefit? The workers of foreign countries. That's why. And inambing kami doon sa mga importers. That's why I am proposing that there should be a different department for industry, like prior to Marcos, and a different department for commerce. Because these two can never mix. Why? The manufacturers will always ask for a higher tariff on finished products that compete with their products. But the importers, the retailers will always ask for a reduced tariff. That's why before, there was only one secretary, there were two secretaries. If you recall, si Balatbat was for commerce, Paterno was for industry. Yan ho ang ina-advocate na isa pa namin. Because if you have only one secretary for both, he will play God. Kung saan ang battle is, doon siya pupunta. So my advocacy, baka pwede itong advocacy ninyo, advocacy is, we have a different secretary. The secretary for commerce will by all means promote commerce. The industry will by all means promote industry. And if there's a conflict, then we have the NEDA, which is headed by the President, to act as a sa kasamang palad, nag-uusap na kami ni Paterno, ni Ting, namatay. So, naiwanan yung issue namin na siya daw sana ang makikipagdebate sa Senado at saka sa Congress. So, marami na ho kaming mga nagawa rin to help customs. We are there to assist. We are not there to compete with customs. We are there to help customs. Because there are so many issues that siguro baka hindi nila kaya. For instance, I'll take an example. Recently, I got all the documents of importations of palm oil. Tinignan ko lahat, walang daya eh. Unlike before, na nahuli ko yung Bimoli, when I was CEO of the oil mills, I imported and paid $1.25 per kilo na nakabattle na. And here is my competitor, importing it, declaring it at 6 cents per kilo.
Oh.
Talagang walang hiyaan na ito.
Oh.
So, nahuli, nagbayad ng slap 100 million, unfortunately, ang siningil lang 29 million. Babalikan ko yung sabi ko kay Titos kanina. Babalikan ko yun, nakalimutan ko lang eh. Sa dami kong iniisip eh. So ngayon, nakita ko, yung isang importer naman, walang pandaraya. Sabi ko, kunin ko nga yung canola oil na ini-import niya. Because he is importing 3 times ng canola oil than palm oil. So yung canola oil, tama nga. Ang canola, ang price na sa mga $3 is a premium oil. Ang declaration niya, $1 also. So that will be something new that I will present to customers. So marami ho kami. We have industry technical experts assigned in customs. And ina-appraise namin yung mga value ng dumarating. Nakikita naman namin at sinusoma namin every week kung magkano ang naidagdag namin dahil nasa kinilatis namin ng gusto ang produkto. Meron kami nakatrack ko kami kung magkano. But the total losses on customs, and I'm not the one saying it, I presented this to the Senate and thank God the President used the same figure that customs is losing about $200 billion a year because that was our computation coming from IMF. And then sinabi naman, pero wala pa dyan ang fuel. Hindi kasama ang fuel dyan. Fuel will be about 13 to 35 billion. That's a study of UP. So, also, sabi mo na ng, let's call it 200 billion pesos. 300 billion pesos kung nakukulit ka yan, napoprotektahan natin ang industriyang Pilipino, ang maghanggang Pilipino, at sana maraming trabaho na ang isang Pilipina ay hindi iiwanan ng kanyang anak upang mag-alaga ng banyagang anak.
Correct.
Yun ho ang mga adikain namin. Hindi ho ako nagbibida. Ginagawa ko lang, ginagampanan ko lang kung ano ang pwede kong gampanan. Ako po ay cancer survivor, kaya palagyan mo sinasabi sa mga kasama pag nagdideliver, nakalimutan ko na sabihin kaagad eh. Ang sinasabi ko, I don't claim to be a saint, but I assure you that I am not a devil.
Right.
That has been my pronouncement. So, marami yung anomalya. Kanina, nabasa ko lang sa dyaryo, ang COA, ang agriculture daw 14 billion. Nakakatakot kasi billion Marami ho akong advocacy pa. Example. Kasi hindi lang naman sa custom. Hindi ko na habaan ng custom kasi alam na alam ni Tito yan. He will be the one teaching you, not me. I am as good as a student of Titos. Mayroon pa akong advocacy. For instance, sabi ko, alam ba nyo na pag nagbabayad kayo ng amilya, kasi ganito yan, the Federation of Philippine Industries approved that we will now intervene in other matters not even related to commerce, but if it will adversely affect the consuming public, either taxes or whatever. Pag nagbabayad ho kayo ng amilya, examinin yung mabuti. Tinanong ko ito si Manong Manong, alam mo ba na pag nagbayad ka ng amilyar, nagbabayad ka ng kasing halaga to represent special education fund? Sabi niya, hindi ko alam yan Kasi kako, hindi ko nagbabayad dun Inukutos mo lang. Ako nagbabayad mismo, kaya nababasa ko. So, it's a law since 1969. And siguro, total collection natin trillions. Pinuntang ko si Grace Pulido, pina-audit ko yan. Kasi dati, education board, school board, PTA. Nung pumasok si Pimentel, dinagay niya sa local government. Doon nagkawenda-wenda ang buhay natin. Asan ang pera niyo? Ang punto ko lang is, I'm debating from custom because you're talking of graft and corruption na classmate, no? Graft and corruption. Tingnan mo naman ito, ha? Sabi nila, i-inspectionin ka ng pagtatayo ka ng building. May mag-inspection siya kaliwat kanan, di ba? Pati fire department. But why are you asked to pay? Isn't it that all these inspections are governed by the taxes we are paying? That is, again, another advocacy. Kaya pumunta sa La Union, inabal ko yung barangay doon. Kasi kumukolekta, just to get a certificate that the company is not in operation, they're asking for money. And I told them, if I have to pay a monthly, how can they pay when they have no operation? Common sense. No, marami ho yan. Maliit pa ako noon, lumaki naman ako. Maliit pa ako noon, palaging sinasabi na, irrigation. Bakit 73 anyos na ako, hindi matapos-tapos ang irrigation, hindi man lumalaki ang Pilipinas? Bakit hindi matapos-tapos ang classroom na nag-collect kayo, hindi lamang sa special education from sa Villa, but kasama pa ang kinokolekta sa Batatayan sa tobacco? Kinokolekta para to form the SES. Marami ho akong nakikita. Ang huli na nga pati Biblia, pinakailaman ko na. Sumunod ako po. I am an advocate of death sentence. I'm sorry if you don't agree. We have been victims of hold up sa bahay. 14 armed men in tinaon ng coup sa Channel 7. Thank God, walang nahar. And yung pala mga December Army. Kaya nung nakita ang picture nila JP, mukhang hindi. At saka napansin natin as mga sundalo because pag hingi ng sigarilyo, sabi ko hingin mo ng sigarilyo, sabi niya, yes ma'am. Walang magnanakaw na mama. Sundalo ang force of habit, ma'am. So sabi ko, okay tayo sundalo mo. Pero ang punto ko lang is, lahat yan, bakit ang death sentence inalis? Dahil ang pupunta si Gloria, kaibigan ko naman si Gloria, pero dahil ang pupunta sa Roma noon, pangpakita. Then, sumulat kasi ang Pope. Nalabas sa bulletin. Sabi, death sentence is an admission that you fail in teaching or in reforming the criminals. And it is a sign of vengeance. So I read the Bible. I read Protestant and Catholic Bible. And in Genesis chapter 9, verses 5 and 6, ang sabi doon, any human being who takes the life of another human being, his life shall also be taken by human hands. Basahin nyo yun. And in the Catholic Bible, ang nakalagay, any person who shed blood of another person, his blood shall also be shed by human hands. Now, sabi nung isang kausap ko, Old Testament yun. Panahon ni Noah yung sinabi ng Diyos eh. Pero, Old Testament, nung pumasok si Jesus Christ, forgiving. I die for you, and so on and so forth. I redeem all your sins. Sabi ko, ganun ba? Kaya nagbago na. Sabi ko, saan mo sinusunod ang Ten Commandments? Saan mo nabasa? Sa Old Testament. Ba't mo sinusunod? Pero dito ayaw mo sundin. So, anyway, I went to that point that I gave copy to Tadle. Kaya gusto kong ilaban ito kasi talagang sa katalamakan ng heinous crime ngayon, dapat lang. Pati yung manufacturing lang dapat o drug pushing, death dapat yan. You remember Libsyn? After he was shot, tahimik ang bansa natin, walang droga. Oh, marami ho tayong magagawa na pagsama-sama tayo. We can do it. I'm happy that you are starting it. We are also organizing a big group of consumers. Just this noon, I had a meeting with some. It will be backed up by some companies. It will talk about consumer protection, truth in advertising, truth in marami hong mga truth na yun na pag-usapan natin. And I'm willing to work hand in hand with your group. Wala ho akong dito, pag kami yung nakikisama, wala akong pataasan ng ihi. We work together, we help each other. And that's the only thing that I can promise you is, okay, ito, pansinin nyo ha, hindi ba ang 17 and below, pag nag-commit ng crime o ng kaso, ano? Sino may gawa ng balas? Panglinan?
Yeah.
Hindi, pero lahat sila, kasi pumirma sila na in-approve nila. 17. Anong rason? Wala pang right mental faculty to discern what is right and what is wrong. Pero may batas silang ginawa before that. Bakit sa kabataang barangay, they allow 15 years old to elect and to handle money? Bakit walang congressman o senator na umuungkat yan? Because it is a katangahan yan. Katangahan because hindi mo binabasa ang previews. That's part of your job. That's part of the job of the Oversight Committee. Bakit nakaupo dyan ang mga yan? Kaya nga dapat may qualification din ng mga kung yung janitor lang may qualification.
Yeah.
Ang ini-elect mo, basta you should know how to read and write. Only. Wala na. Well, tapos ang bansa natin. But anyway, marami ho tayong pagtutulungan sa custom mo. Natutuwa kami, may pagbabago naman, unti-unti. Hindi mo naman, as long as we are creating some debt doon sa mga issues. Ako'y minsan pagod na. Sinasabi ko yung palagi. Ang sabi lang sa akin ni Manong noon, as a crusader, you just have to do it